Hello, hope everyone's had a great holiday period over Christmas and New Year's. I've been a bit quiet on the video front, mainly because I've been just kind of doing hobby stuff. The most recent stuff that I've been doing has been fairly wargame related, and I thought I'd touch on that today because this in front of you is what I've been kind of doing with most of my spare hobby time recently. Towards the end of the year, I bought a fairly large collection of gaming stuff, wargaming stuff that comprised of Mordheim, Warhammer 40k, Warhammer Fantasy, and just a few other bits and pieces, some old vintage War Master and stuff like that. Usually when I buy those big lots, it's to keep certain things, and then the rest I just sell. And but within that lot, I was really keen to keep the Mordheim stuff and the 40k stuff. So a big part of my holiday break was actually stripping and repainting these models as well as a bunch of others. But I just wanted to sort of show the progress that I've made this year in this particular space. So I've really been kind of delving into the idea of revisiting the Warhammer 40k 3rd edition rules. This is sort of the edition I'm most familiar with, having played it in the early 2000s as a teenager. And I'm kind of interested in the idea of at least painting up some stuff, if not having a game or two with either family or friends. So this is part of it's a Blood Angels army, but it's kind of a bit more, like the color scheme's a little bit looser. The most iconic Blood Angels piece would be this one, which is, very on scheme in terms of the colors, but these ones here are a little bit, a bit more black, and I kind of wanted that alongside some of the more classic red stuff. This is the piece that I probably spent the most time on. This Dreadnought. I didn't actually get this in the bulk purchase. I bought that separately. Someone had been kind enough to already strip this, so I bought it stripped and then just repainted it and made the base. And yeah, just used some cork, I guess, from an old coaster to make the base, and painted that up. So I'm pretty happy with how that's turned out. It's not going to win any painting awards, but for a tabletop standard, I think it's pretty good. This one is I'm just calling it finished. This was in really sad shape when I got it, basically in bits, had been painted terribly. It does have some metal pieces. It was a Bull Predator, and it would have had a turret, but I didn't have the turret. So I like the idea of just kind of almost making something a bit more, I don't know, like not a Bull Predator, not a Rhino, not a Razorback, just something. And I guess the beauty of it is it can be sort of anything. I had to do quite a lot of, you'll notice like the teeth are a bit different on this. So I had to sort of do a bit of kit bashing to get this. It doesn't look great even after all of that, but it looks fine. Like it's fine as kind of a tabletop standard and as a fairly quick paint job. It serves the purpose just fine. And compared with how it was when I got it, I'm really pleased with the level of restoration I was able to achieve with that. Now this squad is interesting. So this is an old 2nd edition Captain Tycho, I believe. Again, not the best paint job. The idea with all of this stuff really was just to paint it as fast as I can and just get it ready for tabletop use and just get it to a standard that I was personally okay with, which is what I've done here. This stuff here required quite a lot of stripping, and again, not the most amazing paint job in the world, but certainly will suffice for what I'm using it for. This is by far the worst. Has pretty wonky eyes, and there's just so much super glue on it that no matter how much time I spent trying to strip it, I just couldn't get it off. So it's not great, but if it's on a table, who's really going to be noticing? Alongside that, I've been working on some Necromunda stuff. And I play a game every now and then with a friend. It's kind of loosely a campaign game, but we play Necromunda so infrequently that it's a bit more casual. But it really was a nice excuse for me to break the rulebook out and revisit Necromunda. I spent a bit of time painting up a bit more terrain as well, and just another random ganger, and I was able to put together a pretty cool Venator gang, which was a lot of fun to play. So in the terms of the Necromunda stuff, I've been working on the gang stronghold, and I've got most of it to a pretty good stage. Like I've done black, a bit of dry brushing and metallic, and then kind of a brown underneath it, and it's not perfect. Actually, that's just brown. That one hasn't been dry brushed silver, but this one here is looking, I don't know, slightly more complete. I'm not spending too much time. Like my philosophy with all of this stuff that I did over my break was essentially just to try to paint stuff as quickly as possible. Just get it to a good tabletop standard and not to overthink it too much. I set myself a lot of time limits. So for instance, with this hive ganger dude, I just said, let's just do 2 hours and just see what you can come up with in 2 hours. So this guy here I painted within that time frame, and again it was just about having fun and trying to get a decent result within a fixed time period, because I feel like I can be quite a perfectionist with painting sometimes, and sometimes I'll spend ages on stuff and I'm not even that happy with it. So the philosophy with the Warhammer stuff, the stuff that I've been painting here, the philosophy with the Necromunda stuff is really just to paint it quickly, to be happy with it as a quick paint job, and just to move on to other things. And I'm finding that that's bringing me a lot of satisfaction, and where in the past I might get hung up on doing a really perfect paint job, I'm much more satisfied with something that's good enough that I'm personally pleased with. It's just, to me, it's just been on my mind a bit just to share some of the stuff that I'm working on in a war game context, because a lot of my channel is about either role-playing game material, Magic the Gathering, and but I do, in my own time, I do focus also on wargaming a lot, and I'm imagining that for a lot of people, especially with narrative games that border on role-playing games like Necromunda, you can create some pretty rich storylines within the Necromunda universe, and it can be quite, and Mordheim's the same for me, so if you're not familiar with Mordheim, it's a war game that Games Workshop put out in, I believe, 1999, and it has quite a heavy sort of kind of a role-play component to it. So this is what the old rulebook looks like. Mine's very, very tattered. But the cool thing about Mordheim is it's got a really atmospheric. The models are really cool, and the good thing about it is it's basically free. Like if you go to the Broheim website, you can get a version of the rules. It's just online, and the great thing about it is you can use all sorts of different models. For my Skaven warband, I have these old metal Games Workshop miniatures. I do have the plastics that came in the box set as well, and then you can have hirelings or mercenaries like the ogre. And this, can't remember where this guy's from. If I remember, I'll put a link in the description. But you can hire sort of bodyguards and stuff, and different human factions as well. And so it's just a really fun game. You can use pretty much any models from anything, because it's not supported by Games Workshop anymore, and it's just really fun. In my opinion, it's just really fun kind of digging into the vibe of it. It's very sort of apocalyptic and stuff. So this video is a bit all over the place in a way, but it's just kind of a check-in. It's kind of I just thought people might like an update in terms of what I've been doing with my hobby time. So that's it. Take care, and see you in the next one.